All right, all right. So, what's up again? This is a little follow-up to the Rivian video. Back out of here. So, two things. The market for the Rivian R1T and R1S. Being that I'm a huge Yamaha fanboy, I love the name of that. Love the names of those trucks. I literally, if I had the money, would buy one of them, probably the S, and also buy a Yamaha R1S, just to say I have both R1Ss. But that's just me because I'm a fanboy. Even though I don't own one, I own a Harley Davidson. Long story. We'll get around that. Anyway, two things. Who is the market? I understand who the target market is, but who is the secondary market? Which I think, to me, in my own amateur opinion, I don't get paid to make these pontifications, but in my amateur opinion, what I think the R1S and R1T does for the automotive industry is great. I feel like that it opens up those class of vehicles to people who generally would not think they want or need said vehicle. A pickup truck, specifically with the pickup truck, I mean, SUV, I mean, it's like the hottest selling vehicle segment in the world, especially in the United States, and people who buy them don't necessarily need them and they buy them just because, not for any other reason. It's just they like the SUV. They like the idea of having they like the idea that they might be able to go off road and tow a bunch of crap, haul a bunch of crap. But in America, the pickup truck is like a huge status symbol. And, the buyers for pickup trucks, they're usually, people that buy them for work trucks, people that buy them because they haul crap, people that buy them because they need it, for work or some hobby they do. And there's people that just buy them just because. Hell, my dad bought one, and he had an F-150, Harley Davidson edition. He didn't ride a Harley Davidson, nor did he really have a need for a pickup truck. I mean, but it's a status symbol. Now, you have a truck priced at the same price as the status symbol. And the other thing about that being a status symbol is the cost to operate a pickup truck is expensive as hell. Like, I literally love pickup trucks. I want to own one at some point in my life, even though I have no use for one. Just because I'm a country boy at heart. I'm a Georgia boy at heart, and, so you got to have your truck. But, totally impractical vehicle. I mean, it's a gas-guzzling behemoth that takes hundreds of dollars to fill up. The oil changes is like a freaking production in a pickup truck. It's just a lifestyle you have to be prepared to live, and I don't make that kind of money. I make good money. I don't make that good of money. And nor do I want to live my life. You own a pickup truck, your life pretty much becomes that pickup truck because you're constantly in it doing something. But here's the thing. What the Rivian changes about the pickup truck market is that you don't need or want to have the status symbol to own the pickup truck. You can buy it because you can haul a bunch of shit and it gets 400-mile range if you can afford that version. That's more than any other vehicle on the road right now. That's for sure. You can't. I mean, you could do 400 miles on a tank in a Ford Excursion after you put $300 worth of gas inside of it. I haven't owned a car that could even do half that. And my Kia Forte got pretty good gas mileage. So, I would consider buying it just for my job. I mean, I drive every day, 40 miles a day. I would love to be able to park my car in front of my house and not charge it. Or just charge it and knowing that my little trickle charge, level 1 ain't really doing nothing but taking me to the next charge the next time I charge it all the way up, which could be in like 2 weeks, that I might go pay for a faster charge and fill it up, if you will, at a 400-mile range. I mean, I really did the math on that. If I never charge that truck and I do what I do now, I don't run a lot of accessories on my car because it's an electric car. I run my little battery. I'll show that setup on another video, but I have a little battery that I use, a remote charger to charge my phone while I'm in the car. Always have my phone charged. Don't really run a lot of accessories on the car, other than the radio. Temperature here in Maryland gets a little chilly. I climatize before I get in, which is like a feature almost every electric vehicle has, because it makes sense. Not a big deal. At the rate that I drive, I would have to charge that car once every week and a half, with hauling the kids around. So what it does is opens up the vehicle. It opens up a market to people that would not necessarily buy a pickup truck, but want to get an EV, but need more range. I mean, you eliminate the whole range anxiety when you have a 400-mile range. Hell, you eliminate it when you have 250 miles, i.e. Hyundai and Kia, which are coming out, ironically, at even better time in the market. How does this affect the big three? Well, Chevy, all three of them are going to be affected because a pickup truck's being a status symbol. The first guy who buys the fully loaded Rivian and takes it to the drag strip and obliterates every single pickup truck on the drag strip and just smokes all of them, that's it. It's over. Like, you're going to have guys trading in their big ass trucks for Rivians. Like, it's going to start a trend. That being said, the other buyers who just want a long range, high storage capacity vehicle may go for the pickup truck because it's more American than the SUV. While I don't think that's going to be a huge segment in the market. I mean, and at best, Rivian's going to sell, 20,000 of them in the first year? Maybe. They're not poised to produce over 100,000 trucks. So in my last video, who needs to be scared of the Rivian, I said the big three. I don't think they're going to take huge chunks out of the market share. But when you look at the market share loss when that truck comes out, that dude's being a dick. When you look at the market share of loss, you'll be able to see a direct correlation between the minute losses in market share and vehicles sold. And I can almost guarantee that you'll be able to fit Rivian in that like a perfect puzzle piece of where those truck sales went. Maybe not one for one, but if 50% of the loss in market share for everybody is due to Rivian, a 0.5%, that's it. I mean, if you figure if half of the market share loss, so you're looking at if there's a loss in market share, we're talking about 1% at best. But if you take all those vehicles sold, cut it in half, I guarantee you that Rivian will fit in that piece nice and easy. It'll be real nice. That's not what they need to be worried about. I mean, they do need to be worried about it, but hopefully someone's looking at that. Like, if they see that the big three change direction. Now, on to Chevy. Really, what I really want to get into that, or GM, I should say. GM cutting vehicle production on sedans, exclusively sedans, on low-selling sedans, and announcing plant closing falls right in line with the end of their CBAs in the United States, Canada, and their labor agreement in Mexico. So, while Trump and all of his lackeys are saying shame on GM, we're going to take away their tax credits. Well, their tax credits are going to run out by the end of the year anyway. So it's like, what are you talking about? You're not. And I guarantee you, I swear, if he gets on stage and says that they took away GM's tax credit after it runs out by itself, I'm going to laugh really hard. I'm going to laugh really, really hard. And the people that believe it, y'all are dumb. If you believe that when their tax credit runs out, that Donald Trump had anything to do with them not having that tax credit anymore, you're an idiot. That's my political moment. Back to the subject at hand as I park my car. Uh, GM is not really going to close those plants. And I'm only saying that I'm saying that for two reasons. One, when I put some thought into it, especially after seeing the whole Rivian thing, listening to what Ford is doing, where they're basically not selling passenger cars anymore, especially in the States. They're not gonna make them anymore. Um, Changing production lines. I made ice cream for 5 years, and I can tell you, changing production line from Haagen-Dazs to Edie's was a pain in the ass. Changing a whole factory from making transmissions to assembling electric batteries is going to be a nightmare. Um, you know, Changing a factory that's used to making internal combustion engines to assembling batteries and assembling uh, inverters and all the electrical components. It's going to be a nightmare, let alone retooling a sedan factory to build a pickup truck factory to an electric pickup truck factory. I mean, GM already stated that they're going to get into the electrification market. That's their ultimate goal. Don't be surprised if there's an electric pickup truck on that list for 2023. But those plants are closing. Here's another reason why I know that they're not going to actually close those plants. The one in Baltimore just opened like less than 10 years ago. I actually applied for a job up there, and I literally only withdrew my application because of how far it was away from the area in Maryland I want to live in. I didn't want to drive an hour to work. There's no way that plant's going to actually close. And if you look at the closing dates, they coincide with Canada's CBA. And the United States CBA is right after that, and right after that is the labor agreement with Mexico. I don't know the dates. It's pretty much irrelevant. You're just reading between the lines. Take all the information, read between the lines. GM is going to retool because there's a market forecast. I'd like to say it's because there's a woman at the helm. I'll leave that right on the table. Y'all can tell me what you want. You can hate what you want, but it's not lost on me that major change is coming while there's a woman at the helm, because usually women get thrown in CEO chairs when a company is going to fail and maybe not go out of business, but when they're going to make a big failure and they need somebody to blame it on, and they fire the woman or a person of color. Look that up. That's an actual thing. That is a bold move for the head of GM. And if there's no way that they're going to lose that much labor, because that's the other thing. GM is also these big companies are dependent on their labor. They're not going to give up that labor, because if they do, who's going to swoop in and pick up that labor? Once that labor's picked up, it's lost labor. Like you have to basically find the skill set again, and they're not going to be. GM's in the business of making a crap ton of cars and selling a crap ton of cars. And A, if the cars aren't selling, they ain't gonna make them. B, if something is selling, they're gonna make that. C, they gotta have people to make it. If you got already people that are already know your culture, at the very least, you can retrain them to do something else. If they have the ability to do one thing that is technically inclined, chances are you can get them to do something else. And car assembly, while there's a difference between electric and internal combustion, electric cars and trucks are going to be a lot easier and more simple to assemble, meaning you can transfer that labor way easier. Now, there's some minutia about whether or not they're going to want to get less experienced labor at a cheaper price. Obviously, they're going to want to save money when that time comes, but that plant's not closing. Those plants aren't going to close. Maybe not all of them. Some of them, but not all of them. Call me a liar in 3 years when they close, but I can guarantee you it's not. And it's partly political and partly business why it was announced the way it was announced. They want to give their shareholders an opportunity to make those shareholding decisions well in advance. So if you, to finish up, if you are going to purchase GM stock. Do it now. In the next year, if you're going to purchase GM stock, purchase it now. That's my stock tip. Mark my words, if they truly get into electrification, their stock price is going to go through the roof. If they don't and only focus on making better SUVs and better trucks, mark my words, their stock price will go up. If they get into electrification, they will be the first major big company to get into, and especially of trucks. Basically, whoever's the first big company to, the first and second, major companies, I'll say, as far as auto manufacturers, to fully electrify their fleet or go 50% or more electrification will be the winners. Those are going to be the winners in this market because those cars are so easy to build. You're starting to see startup companies come, and they're the same rate of failure as the first initial boom of the automobile is starting to happen. There's going to be a shakeout of who the big players are. Tesla became a big player. They're only going to get bigger. That market, that industry is still open for newcomers. It won't close for newcomers for a little while, but if any of these big companies want to survive, they're going to need to switch over. My gut says that GM is going to try, maybe not beat Tesla to the punch on an electric pickup truck, but they definitely want to beat Ford to the punch. So that's my thought. I know it's a little bit of a rant. How to combine the two, I'll go back and say that if Chevy can mass produce an electrified pickup truck at the same price point, that side market, those casual buyers of pickup trucks, someone like myself who would be considered a casual buyer, if you get me into one of those pickup trucks brand new at under $70,000 and it's fully electric with the kind of numbers that this Rivian's talking about or somewhere close to it, with four-wheel drive, you're going to pick up a lot of new pickup truck buyers, a lot of them, especially with that range. There's a whole host of electric vehicles that are going to start hitting the market. And, if for the sake of the auto industry and the motorcycle industry, I hope that Donald Trump is not reelected, because these tariffs are they're essentially going to hurt the market. Again, another reason why GM's closing these plants, the cost to make those sedans is going to go up because of the tariffs. Once that is ironed out, the electric car market is going to explode. Whoever of the big three is last on it, which will most likely be Ram, Dodge, unless FCA does something drastic. As usual, Chrysler Group will be the last one on the stick to do something, and they're going to be the odd ones out again. But that market's going to change. The options are going to be so wide. I don't know, man. I have a feeling GM is going to try to steal the thunder from Tesla and all the newcomers to be the first big company, which will be big. They'd be beating Honda to the punch. They'd be beating Toyota to the punch. They could essentially position themselves to be the largest manufacturer of electric vehicles in the world, and not say corner the market, but essentially corner the market on mass production electric vehicles. Only time will tell. What do you think about my analysis? Drop me a comment. Maybe by the time anybody sees this video, it'll be long gone, and we'll go back and somebody can find my video and say, wow, I can't believe you predicted that. I'm pretty good at predicting stuff when it comes to business, of reading the winds. I'm gonna go buy some GM stock because I have a feeling they're gonna change the game. Holla at y'all later. ELE. Everybody love everybody. Holla at y'all next time.